So I did have a request from a relatively new stamper, and we've actually got some new stampers that are new to Stampers, and they're new to our group. And they wanted to know, how did I do the adhesive sheets for our little pumpkins from the Autumn Goodness class? And so I wanted to do a quick Facebook Live, because that's the easiest thing to do than to try to do something else. So I wanted to show you, I'll start off by showing you the adhesive sheets. These are our adhesive sheets that we sell at Stampin' Up. And the number is 152334, 152334, and they come like this. There's 12 sheets, and these are 6 by 12, 6 by 12. And so what you're going to need to do is you're going to take your adhesive sheet. So we'll take one of those out. They feel a lot like wax paper. So there's our adhesive sheet of 2 inches by 12 inches. And I like these better because they're much easier to work with. So what you're going to do is, in this case, I'm going to use some of the gold foil, and because I want to do pumpkins, but you could use cardstock as well. Now this is 2 inches by 12 inches. Well, actually it's 2 1/8 inch by 12. I always make it a little bit bigger than the strip that I'm going to be using. So what you do, you want to, on the back of whatever you're going to do, you're going to pull this off. Now this is the sticky part right here. Okay, so you're going to pull that off, and you have to be kind of careful with it because you don't want to touch the sticky part. So I'm going to line this up. It's a little harder to do, but this is why you have a little bit more than you need, because you can see I didn't get it quite on there perfect, so it's sticking over a little bit, which is fine because I can come back with my gooey scissors. These are my scissors for gooey stuff, and I can trim that off, because you don't want to leave that on because it will get goo on your plates for your die cutting machine when you go to die cut it. So if there's any hanging over, and you definitely don't want to get sticky on your metallic sheet. You don't want to get any adhesive from sticky fingers on your metallic sheet. So that's how I did that. So like I have 2 more strips here that I could do the same thing with. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you how this works. Going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I have plate 1. Let me move this over. Don't want to cover up my dies though. So I have plate 1. Get in camera there. Plate 2, just like we normally do if we're going to do any kind of die cutting. Then our plate 3, which is well loved, as you can tell. And then we'll put our cardstock, our dies, just like this. And then because this is metallic, I like to put just a sheet of just regular printer paper over it so that it doesn't get marred by the plastic. And then I'm going to run that through my machine just like this. And that's a normal sound. That clunking is normal. Just means it's working. Okay, and now we have our dies. So what we want to do, I'm going to move this out of the way again. So I'll use my take your pick tool, my die brush, push those through. And you can use this with any, this is a good thing to use with any kind of delicate or intricate die. So now I've got my metallic dies here. And so now when I want to put it on my pumpkin, normally, you know, I would have to try to fit glue on there. And that would just be a big mess. So I'm going to take the backing off. It basically makes this into a sticker. And it is so nice to have this, that you don't have to fight with glue and sticky glue, and then you just, I guess it's best to line up the little stem first and then do the rest. Now one thing you might notice is that you'll get these little bumps in your die cut, and that's from these little holes that are in the die, and that's because the holes are there so that you can push out your image when you're done. But if you don't want those, you can take a bone folder, the back of your bone folder, and gently just rub that and rub it out wherever that is, and just rub gently. Well, you do have to be somewhat firm, but you don't want to rub so hard that you mar your it works better with cardstock because you don't have to worry about marring your image. Okay, so that has taken out all the little dots, except this one here needs a little bit more help. Okay, now I have gotten rid of all those little dots. I don't know if you can see, there's like a little dot there. So that's how you would do that. Now this works, like I said, with any of your intricate dies. And I did have some dies out to show you. It will work with, especially with something like these well-written framelits or well-written dies that have like the little words. That says baby. You can imagine trying to put glue on that. So these are the well-written dies that have several little words for your sentiments. And then I have, this is the Sweetest Borders dies. Sweetest Borders dies. That's where this little candy cane comes from. Now I went ahead and I die cut one, and to show you, now this doesn't have the adhesive on the back. Imagine trying to glue this onto this. That would not be fun. This, by the way, is a really nice little, you'll be seeing this candy cane in the next tags Christmas class that I'm doing. Okay, so what I have, instead of doing it that way, I'm going to get a small piece of real red cardstock to show you that you don't have to use a whole strip of this if you're going to do something. You can actually cut it to size. So I'm going to get a piece that I have cut out previously for something else. A leftover. I keep my leftovers in the bag too. So see, this piece is just about the right size. So now all I have to do is trim it. Get my gooey scissors out. Trim it to where I think it is going to be. That looks like that would be enough to cover it. So I'm going to take the backing off. Be sure not to get my fingers gooey. All right, so this is where the gooey one is. You'll know because it's sticky. This came out in two parts. I'm not sure why. All right, so this is not sticky, so it's going in the trash. And again, I'm going to trim off that sticky part that's sticking out because I don't want it to get my plates on my die cutting machine gooey. So now I have sticky on the back. So all I have to do is put my candy cane die here. I'm going to run it through the machine. I'm not going to do it in front of you. It's the same way. 1, 2, 3, then this, and then another 3 plate. Just let me do that real quick. So after we run it through, this is what we have. And I might have actually been able to do 2 if I had done that, huh? But I'm not going for frugality. I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to poke out those little things here, all these little, I could use my brush. That would probably be faster, huh? Okay, yeah, the brush, this is really good too when you're doing intricate dies. The die brush from the Take Your Pick tool. All right, so I'm going to use those little holes to poke it out. And now I have a sticker. So how easy is that going to be to put on this? So just have to remove that back. That's a little tricky, but it comes, eventually it will come. And then you're going to line that up like so. And now you have, that is so much easier than trying to fight with some glue. So that's what you can use for your intricate dies, the adhesive sheets from Stampin' Up. And I also wanted to show you while I have you on here, because this is another question. These number 3 plates, the acrylic plates, they are reversible. You can use them on this side and then you can use them on that side. If they start to bow like this one, then you just flip it over and use it the other way till it kind of flattens out and starts to bow. I haven't used it on this side yet. That's why it's kind of bowing. But if you alternate, you know, every once in a while alternate, that's great. So I always cut with one plate and use one plate on top, unless I forget. And then when this plate gets really, really scarred up and messy, then I put this one down and get a fresh plate to go on top. And the reason I do that is so that when I do my cutting, my die cutting, if I put a plate on top that's all scratched up like this, those scratches are going to imprint themselves into my cardstock, and that's not going to be pretty. So what I'm going to do is I always use a fresh, clean, nice plate, except for this part where here I forgot. And that way I don't have the scarring and the marring on the top of my cardstock. But I will tell you that you can use these plates for a very, very long time. Even though this looks really messy, it's still got like 75% of its life left, if not more. I want to show you the plate that I'm using on my other machine, if I can find it. I set it aside to show you. And okay, so yeah, so just to let you know, you don't have to replace your plates as often as you might think. I'm still using this one. Can you believe that? The only time it might be a problem is if you're using white cardstock. But yeah, I'm still using this one. This still has a lot of good life left in it. I guess when I first started using a die cut machine, I would replace my plates a lot more often, but now I'm like, nope, as long as they cut, I'm good. So you don't have to. The other trick is, like when you're doing dies, it's just, I guess, kind of normal for us to put it in the center of your, but you can use Like you could put it through like that and run it through and just, you know, move it around. Use your corners too. Don't always just put it in the center like you can see that I've been doing. But I do try to remember to alternate, and that way you can use way more of your plate than just the center. All right, well, I hope these tips have helped you, given you some ideas, maybe even encouraged you to use the adhesive sheets. They're awesome, awesome, awesome. And the other thing that I've seen done, if you're a big glitter fan, which I am not, you can put adhesive sheet on the back of something that, or on, put it on whatever you want to glitter. So like if you wanted to glitter this piece of cardstock here, you could put adhesive sheet on it and it would be sticky. Then when you pull the back off, it would be sticky. And then what you would do is you would sprinkle your glitter on there, and then it will hold your glitter for you. So but like I said, I'm not a fan of glitter because it gets everywhere, and I see it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I even have one of those little dust lint brushes to get stuff off my desk because I just don't like stuff hanging around. But if you do like glitter, these are nice to have to pick up your glitter from off your desk. All right, well, I'm going to let you guys go, and hopefully you'll watch this later and leave some comments. And I hope you learned something. All right, love you. See you later. Bye.